What if the most dangerous predator wasn't a stranger lurking in the shadows, but someone you welcomed into your home? Someone who smiled, told jokes, and seemed like the perfect, charming guest. Today, we're diving into the chilling true story of Ted Bundy, a man whose name has become synonymous with evil, and whose case forever changed our understanding of the criminal mind. This isn't just a story about a monster. It's a cautionary tale about the terrifying mask of normalcy that evil can wear. The story begins in the 1970s, a time of social change and newfound freedoms. Across the United States, from Washington and Utah to Colorado and Florida, a dark pattern started to emerge. Young women, mostly college students with long, dark hair parted in the middle, were disappearing without a trace. The cases were baffling. There were no signs of forced entry, no witnesses to a struggle, just a sudden, terrifying absence. Law enforcement in different states were working on their own puzzles, completely unaware that the pieces belonged to one horrifying picture. The first public-facing incident that truly brought the fear to light happened on a sunny afternoon at Lake Sammamish State Park in Washington in July 1974. Two different young women, Janice OTT and Denise Naslin, vanished from the crowded park just hours apart. Witnesses later recalled a handsome, charismatic man with his arm in a sling, calling himself Ted. He'd politely asked for help loading a sailboat onto his Volkswagen Beetle. Some women he approached refused, feeling a strange unease. Janice and Denise, tragically, agreed to help. They were never seen alive again. This method of faking an injury to appear vulnerable and non-threatening was a classic Bundy tactic. He was exploiting basic human kindness, turning compassion into a weapon. Meanwhile, investigators were stumped. The disappearances were spread across multiple jurisdictions, and in an era before advanced computer databases and DNA profiling, connecting the dots was a monumental task. The only links were the victim profiles and the vague descriptions of a charming man driving a light-colored VW Beetle. But Ted was a ghost. He moved from state to state, leaving a trail of heartbreak and terror. In Utah, more women vanished. In Colorado, the pattern continued. The sheer geographical scope of the crimes was unprecedented. The first major break in the case came almost by accident. In August 1975, a Utah highway patrolman pulled over a VW Beetle for driving suspiciously late at night. The driver was the articulate and handsome Ted Bundy. Inside his car, police found a strange collection of items: a crowbar, a face mask, rope, and handcuffs. While suspicious, it wasn't enough to connect him to the murders. He was arrested for evading an officer, but was soon released. However, this traffic stop put him on law enforcement's radar for the first time. One of the few victims to survive an encounter with Bundy was a woman named Carol DeRange. In November 1974, Bundy had approached her at a mall in Murray, Utah, posing as a police officer. He told her someone had tried to break into her car, and she needed to come with him to the station to file a report. She initially believed him, but when he tried to handcuff her in his car, her survival instincts kicked in. She fought back with incredible bravery, managed to get out of the car, and flagged down a passing driver. Her powerful testimony and her positive identification of Bundy in a police lineup was crucial. It was the first solid piece of evidence linking him directly to an attack. Based on her testimony, Bundy was convicted of aggravated kidnapping and sentenced to prison in Utah in 1976. Many thought the nightmare was over, but Bundy's story was far from finished. He was a master manipulator, not just of his victims, but of the system itself. While in custody, he was extradited to Colorado to face murder charges. Acting as his own lawyer, a move that granted him certain privileges, including access to the law library, he saw an opportunity. During a pretrial hearing in a courthouse in Aspen, Colorado, Bundy asked to use the library to research his case. The room was on the second floor. Left unguarded for a moment, he simply jumped out of the window and ran for the mountains. His first escape was short-lived. He was recaptured after 6 days, looking thinner and exhausted from hiding in the wilderness. But he wasn't done. 6 months later, back in a Colorado jail, he planned a much more elaborate escape. Over several weeks, he painstakingly sawed a hole in the ceiling of his cell, crawling into the space above and exploring the jail's layout. On a cold night just before New Year's Eve, 1977, he made his move. He slipped through the hole, crawled through the ceiling, broke into the chief jailer's apartment, changed into civilian clothes, and walked out the front door to freedom. This time, he made his way to Florida. The charming, intelligent law student persona was gone. In its place was a purely vicious and unrestrained predator. On January 15, 1978, he broke into the Chi Omega sorority house at Florida State University. In a horrific, frenzied attack that lasted less than 15 minutes, he brutally assaulted 4 women, killing 2 of them, Margaret Bowman and Lisa Levy. He then walked several blocks away and attacked another student in her apartment, leaving her for dead. The savagery of the Florida attacks was unlike anything seen before. The only key piece of evidence left at the sorority house was a distinct double bite mark on the body of one of the victims. A few weeks later, Bundy's final victim was a 12-year-old girl named Kimberly Leach, whom he abducted from her middle school. Her disappearance sent shockwaves through the community. The nationwide manhunt for Bundy intensified. His luck finally ran out in mid-February 1978 when a police officer in Pensacola, Florida, noticed a suspicious car and pulled him over. It was a stolen vehicle, and the driver was Ted Bundy. The trial that followed was a media circus, one of the first to be nationally televised. Bundy, ever the narcissist, relished the attention. He was arrogant, charming the courtroom audience and even some of the media, all while facing charges for some of the most heinous crimes imaginable. He acted as his own attorney again, cross-examining the officers and witnesses who would seal his fate. But his charm couldn't save him. The most damning evidence came from forensic science. The bite marks left on Lisa Levy's body were a perfect match to Ted Bundy's uniquely crooked teeth. A forensic odontologist testified that the match was undeniable. It was the physical proof that directly tied him to the brutal sorority house murders. The jury found him guilty. He was sentenced to death. For years, Bundy denied everything, maintaining his innocence, but as his execution date neared, his story began to change. In a series of death row interviews, he finally started to confess. The full scope of his crimes was staggering. He admitted to 30 murders across 7 states between 1974 and 1978, but authorities believe the true number could be much higher. He talked about his methods, his motives, and the dark urges that drove him, providing chilling insight into the mind of a serial killer. He claimed a deep-seated addiction to violent pornography fed his fantasies, though many experts see this as a self-serving attempt to shift blame. On January 24, 1989, Ted Bundy was executed in Florida's electric chair. His case left a permanent scar on the American psyche. He shattered the stereotype of what a serial killer looked like. He wasn't a social outcast or a creepy loner. He was intelligent, handsome, and well-spoken. He taught us that monsters can look just like us. His crimes led to significant advancements in law enforcement, including the development of the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit and the VICAP database, which helps track and link violent crimes across state lines. The story of Ted Bundy is a grim reminder that evil can wear a very persuasive disguise. It forces us to look beyond the surface and acknowledge the darkness that can hide behind a seemingly perfect smile. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this deep dive interesting, please hit that like button and subscribe for more true crime stories. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.